Yeah, maybe you can start. I already enabled the recording, so just in case. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So we can get started. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Um, okay, so yeah, thank you everyone for joining on short notice. I think I'm getting feedback from maybe yeah, maybe yeah, maybe if whoever is not speaking can also mute the phone. I think I'm getting a little bit of feedback. But yeah, but yeah, everyone, thanks for joining. I guess before we start, if you know, couple of things to go over. So yeah, so I am we are recording this, but if for the members, if we can not record the presentation, that would be great in terms of keeping it confidential. But yeah, so this opportunity, you know, the last time we had a Noble for Partners investment opportunity was actually over a year ago. And during this time, you know, it's been a little bit hard um, to find deals because of just, you know, the changing interest rate environment and figuring out what's a good opportunity for investors to get a high cash on cash. Um, but this opportunity came to me recently through a friend in the industry. And, you know, I believe this is a very, very exciting opportunity for investors and for us to really invest in a kind of project that uh, that will give us a high return and that is safe um, and um, and you know do it in a way that you know kind of gives us a pretty um, you know gives everyone kind of a pretty good return. Um, so in this email, um, you know, basically the property that we'll be investing in is an assisted living property. So assisted living is kind of a form of senior housing, and it's a kind of property where you know seniors who you know need uh, you know essentially it's a kind of a nursing home kind of investment. And the property that we'll be investing in was brand new, built by an operator, and is currently 92% occupied. And our investment will basically it's essentially will be secured as a second mortgage. So it functions as kind of like a hard money loan where um, we are the lender and we're lending this money out um, to the owner um, and getting a 13% return for a 3-year term. And at the end, when they sell it, you know, making, you know, about 1.4 times our money during these 3 years. The benefits of this property are, you know, the profit margins are very strong. You know, for senior living, the rent that is charged in these properties are 4 times as much as apartments. Demand is also big because there's 10,000 baby boomers in America who are turning 65 every day. So the demographics for the U.S. are very favorable for the senior living kind of housing. This operator is also someone that my friend, who is the industry professional, has some familiarity with. He has in his 13 years of operating, he has never missed a payment. And he has over 1,000 of these units that he has built and managed himself. So he is very experienced in this field. And there is also downside protection because we are the mortgage. If the if the property is if the cash flow is not enough, then the owner actually gets paid last. We are paid money before the owner. Um, so maybe we can go through their deck first, and then we can just go through any questions that people might have. This is the deck that I attached to the email, and you know, as you can see, the property is called Hampton Manor, Bedford, in Michigan. Let's see if I can kind of go down the slides. This is the operator. This is the owner that is asking us for the money. 36 months is the investment amount. The owner is paying a 16% cash flow with 1.5 equity multiple and a 50K minimum investment. Assisted living, as you can see, the number of older Americans, it has increased a lot through the decades. So it's a very needs-based needs-based property type. Wide margins, so there's 4 times the monthly rent of multifamily, but the cost of operating is only 2.5 times. So the margin is good. The kinds of tenants who stay in these properties is very sticky. So the average length of stay is much longer than traditional apartment buildings. And it's an uncorrelated investment. So it's a needs-based asset class rather than a want. So it's not as affected by the economy. This is telling you a little bit about the community, where the average net worth of people in this community is 920K. So they have 920K of savings, the seniors in this community. So there's the customer base has enough net worth to support living in this community. And these are some photos of the property on the inside. So brand new construction, and as you can see, pretty nice finishes here. Feel free for anyone to also ask questions as you have them. And these are the layouts of the properties. There's studios, there's 1 bedrooms, there's 2 bedrooms, and then there's also memory care. It's a 77 unit community. So 77 apartment buildings at this unit with a 92% occupancy rate. And these are some of the other projects that the operator has done. So he is very experienced in this field and has done a lot of construction for senior living. He has not missed any distributions in 13 years of operations. So one of the big things that we look for an operator that we're working with, a new operator, is their track record, right? And so having a good history of not missing any distributions is something that is very important to have. And so he has not missed a single distribution. And distributions for this property will be paid quarterly. This is just a sample. And this is the quarterly distributions. And these were frequently asked questions, which is, how did it perform during COVID? So he said that even throughout COVID, the occupancy was still pretty high and distributions were paid on time. The current occupancy is at 92%. And the operator says that once a property is even 46% occupied, it is enough to start paying distributions to investors. And the property is currently 92%. So there's a large buffer for us for how occupied the space needs to be before for distributions. And what happens is at the end, they will sell. The operator will oftentimes operate the property for a few years, and then once the property is demonstrated to be profitable, they will sell it to a REIT. So that's kind of the exit strategy for this property as well. This is the fee structure for this deal. Noble Fur Partners will basically charge a 3% annual management fee, and this fee would be to compensate us for finding the deal, for work that was performed on this deal, and then to also cover overhead fees. So it covers any LLC fees that we need to pay, any legal fees, any accounting, and by pulling our money together and by presenting investors with this opportunity. So from the investor point of view, the investor will, at the end of the day, get 13% of an annual return for any amount that they contribute. So every $100 contributed, the investor can expect, at the end of the year to have $13 of return. So $113. The timing of this opportunity, unfortunately, is a little bit quick. So the hard timing is the operator, is closing this at the end of the month, so from our end, just to get everything settled, we'd like to have a decision to invest, hopefully by Monday, and then by Wednesday or Thursday have the money wired in, so that as a group we have enough time to wire that money to the operator. And so this is a quick summary of the deal. Why do I think this opportunity is a great opportunity? Well, I think in today's environment, it's a great time to be a lender. As an investor of the properties now, there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of where the market is going. The hard money lending is a guaranteed return, and it provides enough security because there is someone who is kind of the first part of the capital structure, so that it's a great time to have that extra security. The second thing is, by pulling our money together, and Noble Fur Partners, which is myself, is actually only collecting a 1% net fee, because if investors contribute 50K directly, the operator will only be paying 14%. When we pull the money together for a 250K allocation, with a 13% return, that is only a 1% kind of fee difference. The operator has only allocated us 250K. So, he's only he only needs 3 million of funds raised. So he's giving us 250K, and there's no more allocation after that. So we're only he has only reserved 250K of investment for us. And so depending on how much the investors you guys want to contribute, the final participation will basically be proportional to everyone's contribution. So if we're oversubscribed on this deal, if everyone says the number and then it's over 250K, then everyone's investment will be reduced by the percentage that we need to hit the 250K, because we're not allowed to invest more than 250K. So yeah, if you'd like to invest, please email me directly at chrisywade. And since there's a chance that it will be oversubscribed, we'd like to ask everyone to just say the amount that they would like to commit, and not say either a higher or lower amount based on how much proportional participation everyone will have based on what they think the total amount is. So that is the deal. And one question that investors have already asked me is why. Why is this person asking us for hard money lending? Why do they not go directly to the bank? And the answer to that question is in this slide here. So this is a slide that was provided to us by the operator. Our investment will be secured by 3 properties. So there's Bedford, which is what I just discussed, and we actually very, very recently was able to convince the operator to secure this investment with 2 other properties, which is Hamburg and Woodhaven. Each of these properties makes over 100,000 in monthly income, and this is the annual amount of net income that these properties produce. This is the current interest rate that he has from the banks on each property. So for Bedford, he has a $12.4 million loan. The interest rate is, a little bit on the higher side, but he's going to refinance. For the other 2 properties, it's at 5.2%, $9 million loans. And for our loan, the preferred equity piece, we are at $3 million. So of that 3 million, he has given us 250K for our reserved amount. And this is the annual debt payment that he expects to make. Based on the appraised values of these properties, he is currently with the bank at 57% loan to value. And then with our second mortgage added, he plans to be at 63%. So the question that investors have is, well, why doesn't he go back to the bank? And the reason is because actually for commercial property investments, the bank oftentimes is not willing to lend at a higher ratio. For buying a house, we're all familiar that the bank is willing to lend 80%. To have us only do a down payment of 20%, the bank lends 80%. But for commercial properties like this, it's a very normal range that the bank only wants to lend 60 to 65%. And anymore, the bank is not willing to maybe lend more, or the rate is just going to be too high. So what the operator wants to do is basically kind of very, no different than a home equity loan. He needs more cash for, to be able to basically do the development piece of his next project. And oftentimes you need cash to do the initial kind of entitlements work, to do the initial, permitting process for a new community. And, that part of the process is hard to get financing for. So he'll need, he's asking us for $3 million to put in the next project. But for our portfolio, for it to be at 63%, that is actually very good news for us, because that means that 38%, we have a 38% safety, layer of safety, margin of safety, where because we are the lender, the property value has to decrease 38% before our investment is affected. So having that buffer there is gives us security as a lender. So that is the investment. Again, we think that this is a very very good investment, especially since the amount of money at 13% annually is guaranteed. It will be a 3-year term, but in today's environment, we think that this kind of fixed return is still very attractive. So we'd love to hear any questions that anyone has.
This is Yuan. I'm just trying to learn. Those land entitlement, it costs $3 million to process that whole thing. I'm just curious, for the $3 million, we allocated $250K, right? So that means that there another $2.75 million with someone else, like will be some other. Do you know how many are there? I mean, so the $3 million is us. The second mortgage will be $3 million, right? It's not only us. I mean, we are not the second mortgage. It's like everyone chipping to that $3 million, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you raise their hand? I'm so sorry. Did I
oh no.
Oh, okay.
No problem. No problem. But yes, we are basically in the 3 million the 3 million piece. And so the operator has reserved us 250 a 250K limit, and then our 250,000 will be put together with other investors who want to contribute money, and that total amount will be 3 million, and that will basically be our second mortgage. And so the 3 million will be used for entitlements, and the entitlements process can often take pretty long for these communities, because for development there needs to be a lot of feedback from the community, from the mayor, from people in politics and the planning authorities of the communities that he's in. So the typical process is between 6 to 18 months, and oftentimes that needs to be paid in cash. The bank is not willing to provide financing for it usually. So that is the amount. It says, okay, the Zoom is only giving us 10 more minutes, but I think we can send out another link if this one is running out.
So Chris, if Zoom is cut us off, we can still log back in, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. But yes, Minhan has a question.
Oh yeah, I have a quick question. I know you are probably not a CPA, or here there may not be a CPA on the call, but just for your best knowledge, like the 30%, the 13% annual return, is that going to be considered like short-term capital gain. I'm trying to basically calculate the tax implications.
I think it will be considered. It should be considered a form of passive income. I think for the 13%, it would probably be treated the same as maybe like dividend income from stocks. That's my
Isn't that LLC income? Like, how do you report? I haven't reported my tax yet, but how do you report your LLC income? That would be our LLC income, right?
Yes, it will basically be like our LLC income.
Right.
And then the net income from that LLC will be treated basically as kind of passive income
Passive
from
income, like a rental income.
like
Is
rental income, the same
Okay.
as stock dividend stocks.
I see.
A lot of times the income actually from the LLC the first year, because maybe depreciation or other reasons, it's actually it actually could be negative because of depreciation expense or anything. So sometimes it actually turns out to be it'll offset capital gains income from from stocks or other sources because of the depreciation schedules for these properties. But every year the investors will be getting a K1, and so the K1 will we'll have listed on there the net income that investors should report.
Cool. Thank you.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You say that the operator or owner, whatever, you want to raise that 3 million for the project, and is there any limitation that he could raise more money that we don't know? Was like anything that we secure?
Is there a limitation that if he can raise more money?
Yeah, that we don't know. I mean, we assume that if business get bad and we still can, we have a secure for those place that get our money back. But however, things like in case something get worse, that you cannot pay us back, and you also own the bank's loans, and the mortgage in how secure we can get the money back, like because he could raise more money. I mean, he could allocate more money, right? That we don't know, right?
I think to my understanding, this is the amount that he's committed to raise, 3 million, and there's no more that to my knowledge, he plans on raising. Obviously, part of it is relying on his track record, right, and just the commitment that this is the capital stack that he plans to pay to us. But I think what will be written in the operating agreement is that we will basically be paid after, I think, right after the bank. So the bank has seniority over us, but then we have seniority over anyone else, whether that's him or any other investors, in terms of who gets in terms of who gets paid first.
I think basically if you raise
that-
any more money, that will be the third. We're the second mortgage, so that there will be the third, right?
Yeah. So
I don't
senior
want to have
loan.
to do that raise hand thing. I'm so sorry. So I don't know if I keep cutting the line. I just
Oh, no problem. So this is kind of like the structure of it. I call this, the technical term would be like a mezzanine loan or hard money loan or preferred equity.
is that just loan shock?
Yeah. So the green piece here is our piece. Right. And then for him, this is the equity, the equity piece. So it's very similar to, for us, if we buy a house, right? If we buy a house and we have a mortgage on the house, the first person that you pay, or if we rent out a house, the first person that we have to pay is the bank, right? Because they are the senior mortgage, so they get priority on, what gets paid. The next would be, oftentimes for homes, it's maybe 20% down and then 80% down. But then, as we know, maybe there's some programs where you can only do 10% down. So that if we borrow more than 80% additional, more than 80%, then that next 10% is what gets paid after. So we're paid after the bank, but we're paid before the operator.
So Chris, if the operator apply for another third mortgage, we are paid before that third mortgage, right? Because we are the second.
Yes. So, and I can confirm, but my understanding is if the operator, say, raises more money, let's say the operator wants to raise even more money and he wants to give away some of his money, he's basically still giving it away here, right? So he's giving away this piece. Maybe he wants to give away a little bit more. Maybe he needs to tap into the equity. But this is other people. But in terms of the, in terms of the order in which people are paid, our loan will still take precedence, because we are the order of payment goes this way, so we are basically right after the bank in terms of being paid. And so for this investment, what's important is how much cash flow does the property make, so that there is enough